Hey ladies, welcome to the Mobility Flow for this week, Mobility Flow number 2. We are focusing on the neck and upper back. We'll be working out the upper traps, the lats, T-spine area. These are some mobility drills that I do on my own, and also a couple of new ones that I've been working on incorporating as well. As I continue with the rest of the year, I'm finding that I'm sitting a lot as I'm working on things, and my T-spine and my upper back are just talking to me, screaming a little bit, and I'm finding that I'm needing to do a little bit more mobility than normal. So for this flow today, you will need a mat. I recommend either a lacrosse ball or a racquetball ball. If you have a tennis ball, that works as well. But towards the end, I'm going to show you one of my least/favorite lat mobility drills, and you're going to need a ball for that one. And then I will show you at least one with a foam roller. I have my giant foam roller here, and I absolutely love this length for doing kind of a full body stretch, which I'll show you at the end. If you don't have a giant one like this, you can also use a pillow. If you have a yoga bolster or even a yoga block or something like that, but you want something that's going to lift you kind of up off the ground that you can put right underneath your spine. So your long foam roller or a pillow, something like that will work. All right, let's get started. First up, we are just going to pop a seat and work on that neck. So just as we're starting here, find a comfortable position, take a couple of nice deep breaths, and before we kind of get into anything, just do a couple of neck circles back and forth, do a couple of shoulder circles. Just take a minute to kind of settle in and get ready for what we are about to do. All right, so this is one of my favorite neck stretches. Oftentimes, if we are kind of sitting at our desk, we're kind of hunched over like this, that neck is kind of protruding forward, and we have some rounded shoulders. So we want to correct all of that, and one of my favorite quick ways to do that is with a neck stretch. So you are going to take your right hand, put it around to the left side of your head, right around, fingers can be touching your ears. You're going to roll that left shoulder back and down and kind of pull that shoulder and arm down to the ground. Oftentimes we can be here and that shoulder just kind of gets stuck up near the ear. We want to pull that shoulder away from your ear as far as we can. You might start to feel a stretch from here. And then we're actually going to pull very lightly our head over to the right side. And from here, I can already feel this stretch. So I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths here, just moving to the side like this. You should feel that stretch all along in here. This is a great one that you can do, at your desk. Maybe you're coming home, getting ready to cook dinner, just, waiting on dinner to cook. Take this stretch right here, all right? If you're taking a couple deep breaths, I like to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to lead with my nose. I'm going to keep the arm down, and I'm going to paint my nose down and think about touching my nose to my right knee. So right here, I'm getting a little bit deeper stretch in the back portion of my neck, getting those lats, upper trap a little bit. Oscar's apparently just going to hang out and chill in front of the camera. So you can kind of move in and out of the stretch. So move from that starting point, slowly bring that knee down, or that nose down to the knee, and kind of just move in and out, taking some nice deep breaths here, okay? So you can kind of stay in this position. After, I've done a couple of passes, I like to then draw my nose up to the corner of the room as if I'm, there's a box around me and I'm bringing it up to the left corner. So again, just kind of twisting in and out of that stretch. Take some nice deep breaths here, and depending on how tight you are, you might want to hang out in here a couple of minutes. If you find that sticky spot, for me that sticky spot is about right here. I can feel that stretch very, very well, and so I'm just going to kind of breathe in and out of that here, okay? Making sure that the arm is away from my ears so I can maximize the stretch here, okay? Take one more breath or so, then we'll bring it back up. Doggy, that feels good. So we're doing the same thing on the other side. Take the left hand, place it just above the right ears. You're going to press that right arm down, make sure that shoulder's backing down, and from here already I can feel that stretch, and then I'm gonna pull my head to the left. And I'm gonna hang out right in here just for a few breaths, and then we'll kind of twist like we did with the other side. Oh, my belly is hungry for food. We've got Sushi, my wonderful husband, cooking dinner for us, sushi tonight. All right, so I'm gonna bring that nose, draw the nose to the knee on my left side. Keep breathing. And if you're like me, even as you're doing this stretch, you're noticing that you're not necessarily getting the back of my neck still feels a little bit tight, like it could use a little bit of a stretch. So we'll come back to that in just a second, but continue to kind of move in and out of that stretch here. Bring that nose up to the right corner and keep breathing. And the RX prescription for most of the mobility exercises and drills is going to be at least 2 minutes on each side. So, you know, you can kind of test that out if you're feeling like maybe this is a really tough one and you only want to go, 30 seconds, then you have to take a break, or you can do the full 2 minutes, all right? So that's feeling pretty good. I feel both sides are feeling great. I'm going to do a couple more neck circles. I'm really going to kind of exaggerate that bottom position as my as my chin is close to my chest here. Try to get that back a little bit, and then come up a little bit more here. All right, so shake it out a little bit. That should feel great already. Maybe shake your head no a couple of times, and around, and a couple of yeses just to get that neck working. All right, so before we work on our T-spine and our back, we're going to just make sure that those pecs are stretched out. So you can take your version of the pec stretch. You can come onto the wall if you've got one close to you, and do the clock stretch that we've been doing, or you can do the one here on the ground, the line stretch like I'm going to do, just because we're doing a couple extra things on the ground. We're just trying to keep all the stretches on the ground today. So take a couple of deep breaths here. Hopefully you have found great relief with this stretch, and you have been incorporating it into your daily life, just because, again, if we sit down all day, those pecs tend to get pretty tight, and so we want to make sure that they are open and stretched out and ready to go. All right, so take a couple, maybe 1 or 2 more breaths here, and then we will switch sides. Go ahead and roll on over. I will switch just so that I'm facing you. Come to the edge of that mat and turn over here. Keep breathing. It's been a busy day over here, and Mr. Oscar has not gotten to go on as many walks as he would have liked. So he's just being a little extra mopey. Aren't you, buddy? All right, one more breath here, and then you can go ahead and come on up. Go ahead and go back to the front of your mat. We're going to come onto all fours, and we're going to work a couple of cat-cows. So you're going to make sure that those knees are right underneath those hips. Those shoulders are right over the wrist. Elbow pits forward, and we're going to kind of keep a neutral spine here. As you inhale, you're going to sink that belly down. Chest lifts up. And as you exhale, you're going to push the ground away. Hunch that back up. Really press through the floor. Press that T-spine up. And then just take a couple of breaths here on your own, moving in and out of the stretch. Now, if we are going to be on our knees for a couple of these drills, so feel free to double up your mat, grab a blanket if you need to kind of pad those knees. All right, finish up where you are at, and we'll come into neutral. All right, so I'm going to walk my knees a little bit forward, and then I'm going to have a seat. Not a full seat on my knees, but I'm going to come lean myself back, and I'm going to keep my hands planted where they were. What we're going to do here is going to be a T-spine kind of twist variation, all right? So from here, I've got my hands pressed into the mat. I've got my arms extended here. What I'm going to do is think about rounding up through my upper back, through my T-spine. Okay, so I'm going to round hunch up. Okay, so take a look at my shape here. From here, I'm going to start with my left hand, so I'm going to do point my fingers forward, my thumb is up, my palm is facing the right side. And from here, I'm gonna draw a line up, and as I draw a line up and twist my body open, I'm straightening out my back. Okay, so you notice how we started, that back was hunched. Now in this extended position, my back is flat, and I am pressing open, and I should feel that right about here, okay? So then we'll kind of come back, reset, punch up again. From here, draw that line, straighten out that back, extension, and bring the arm up. Lower it back down. Now, for the purposes of this video today, we're just gonna go about 3 reps on each side, but for this one, you can go 6 to 8, 8 to 10 reps on each side, okay? So that was the left side. Now we're gonna go right, reset, punch that back. You're gonna point that thumb, you're gonna draw a line up and rotate your torso to face open on the right side, and bring it back, okay? Bring it up, straighten out that back, and bring it down, hunch up. This will be our last one. Bring it up, open, and then release, all right? Hopefully you're already feeling it there. I know I was. Again, you can continue 6 to 8, 8 to 10 reps here. From this position, let's just kind of scooch back into child's pose really quickly. I meant to do this at the beginning. You can keep those knees wide or knees together, and we're just gonna reach forward. Okay, sink that head down. What I want you to do here is to just kind of take inventory. Does anything feel tight? Does anything feel sticky? For me, even when I just put my arms extended like that, I could feel my lats and the back of my shoulders are a little bit tight. So as we kind of move through these drills, we'll finish up in child's pose, and I want you to see the difference. So take inventory of how you feel now. We'll take inventory of how you feel at the end. Good, okay. So we're gonna come back up. Come onto hands and knees again. We are going to keep the right knee bent, curl those toes under. We're gonna take the the left foot, turn it towards the front of the room. So you're in this kind of box position here, okay? Both hands are planted on the ground, okay? So essentially we're in that tabletop position. We just have our left leg kind of turned out to the side, okay? Perpendicular, that's the word I was looking for. From here, I believe we've done these before, but we're gonna do that same kind of twisting rotation, okay? So my thumb is pointed forward, and this time I'm gonna paint my my fingers up to the ceiling. Should get a good twist there, and bring it back down. Paint my fingers up to the ceiling, and bring it back down again. For the purposes of our video today, we're just gonna go about 3 to 4 reps. We'll go 4 reps this time on this side. You can always take any of these drills, break them up, do them on your own, especially if you find one that works and feels really good, make sure to redo it. So felt that was about 4 there. We're gonna bring that left leg back, and just so I'm facing you, I'll turn around this way. We'll do the same thing on the right side, okay? So bring that right foot out, toes facing forward, perpendicular to that left leg. Now, we're gonna paint with our right hand's fingers, bring it up, and bring it back down. And bring it up. So hopefully what you're noticing with these is that if our T-spine is in that rounded position, a lot, when we sit, we are rotating, we are trying to open it up. Also, with some of these stretches, we're still kind of working into those pecs a little bit. You can see here, you know, as I'm pressing my arm away, yeah, I can feel it in my T-spine, but also I can feel it in my pecs as well, all right? We'll bring it back down. That was 4. Let me turn around to face you guys, all right? So just take a second here, shake it out just a little bit, okay? What we're gonna do now, I'm gonna have you grab your foam roller. Again, if you've got a tiny one, I have one that's about half, probably about to here, about a third of this, half or third of this. You can use that as well. You can use a pillow here for this one. We're just kind of propping up our leg on the foam roller. So you're gonna lay onto your side. your bottom leg is going to be extended. Your top leg is going to be bent at the knee at about 90 degrees, and it's going to rest on your foam roller or whatever you've got to support you here, okay? You are going to come onto the shoulder, onto that shoulder. You're going to press your hands together. Arms are out, touching each other. What you're going to do is you are going to twist your body up so that those fingers are facing forward here, facing straight up ahead, all right? From here, I'm going to lower my right arm as low as I can to the ground, exhaling all my air as I lower, bring it back up, and then I'm going to reset, okay? So I like to think about like kind of like looking like a clock here. So I'm going to bring both my hands up to 12 o'clock from 9 o'clock. From here, I'm going to lower one arm down to 3 o'clock. Get that twist. Bring the arm back up to 12, and then lower both. I gotta watch my hat here for my not cute hair. Lower back down to 9 o'clock. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 more reps of this on this side. Bring it up, and even though I'm talking here, I want you to be focusing on your breath. So I will do 1, and you will hear how I breathe for this one. Okay, so inhale, exhale, inhale, all right? So we want to keep our core involved here as well. So be thinking about that belly breathing and keeping everything strong and stable, okay? So I'm going to switch over again. Do more if you want to do more, all right? Trying to make this video a little bit short so I can incorporate a few different moves for you ladies. So on this side here, and you might find, so we're starting at 3 o'clock here on this side, bringing it up to 12, lowering it down to 9. You might find, you know what, I totally lost my train of thought. Oh, hey, Oscar. The hope is that at least a few of these exercises will be helpful for you, and you can incorporate them into your daily life. Bring it up, lower it down, and bring it up, and back down, and that was about 4. Okay, we're gonna keep our foam roller to the side here. And since we are on our side, I'm going to have you grab your ball. Now, the density of your ball does matter here depending on how tight those lats are, okay? So the insertion of your lat is right here, and your lats are it's that big V muscle that kind of goes this way. It's going to look like this. So if you ever see those guys that are super ripped and they've got that V, that's because they've been working their lats big time, okay? So essentially, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this ball on our side and we're gonna put it near the insertion of that lat, near where our shoulders attach as well. And we're gonna kind of work this space in here. Now, I'm gonna tell you what, it does not always feel good. This is a mobility drill that I have to be breathing. I have to remember myself breathe in, breathe out. I have to turn on a song that I like, a show, just because it's uncomfortable, to be honest, because my lat, right, because it's so tight right there, okay? You can also do this on a foam roller. I just find it's a little bit wonkier. What you would do if you had your foam roller and you don't have a ball is you're gonna bring it into that spot right there. And that's the spot. You can have, another foam roller to support you here. You can twist like this, put your knee on the ground, and essentially you're just gonna move the arm in and out, okay? All ranges of motion here. When you find a sticky spot, my sticky spot's right there. Maybe I'll do a little tiny roll. Maybe I'll kind of be in here, do some internal, external rotation. Ooh, yep, right there, that's it. Okay, so you can do this one with a foam roller, but the ball kind of digs down into there in the best possible way. So you are going to place that ball just on the back of that shoulder. When you place that ball there, you will feel it, and you will know whether or not it's the right spot, okay? So what we're going to do here, you can do a couple of different things. If we start in the lat area right here, you can just move in and out of your range of motion here, okay? So bring the arm down, bring it up overhead. Right there's kind of where I'm getting sticky. And just take some deep breaths as you move the arm in and out, okay? So we'll do a thumb up first, okay? So we'll do one more pass. And this is one where you can just set the timer for 2 minutes and just whichever one feels the best, that's kind of where you're at, okay? So my sticky spot's right here, all right? So I'm gonna do some internal and external rotation of my shoulder. So I'm gonna go from palm up to palm down, okay? Palm up to palm down. This is another option that you can do, this internal, external rotation, okay? So we've done a couple here. So now I'm going to bend my arm, okay? And then I'm gonna do a short lever, internal, external rotation. So you notice that doesn't go down very far. Bring it back this way, a little bit better, okay? So kind of move in and out here as well. And you'll notice, again, right here I can feel it. Maybe I just want to press down just a little bit more, try to get a little bit deeper. The more dense the ball you have, the deeper you're going to be able to get. And honestly, the more uncomfortable a little bit it's going to be, okay? So those are some good options right there. Now I'm going to bring it to about parallel here, okay? I'm going to do some internal, external rotation again, so I can feel it right there. So when I'm in this position, if I can move that ball up just a little bit and then do the internal, external rotation, that's kind of where my spot is. So don't be afraid to move this ball around, okay? From here, you can kind of work the sleeper stretch. So you'll bring your bicep to the ground, arm is up, and you will do that internal, external rotation again, okay? Trying to move in and out of that range of motion. A little trick you can do is, this is about my stopping point right here. So what I can do is, I can press down into that range of motion, take some deep breaths. Again, if I wasn't talking, I would take some deep breaths. And then I can try to, oh, look at that. I can get a little bit deeper, right? And then bring it back, okay? So if you find that sticky spot, you can just hold it. You can move, in and out of it a little bit, no more than 5, maybe 10 seconds or so, and then see if you can get a deeper range of motion, okay? So we'll call this good on this side, and I'll show you a couple things on the other side. So flip it over, and for me, I know my left side is my wonky side, and I kind of know where I need to be on this one, okay? Yep, right there. So again, move in and out of that range of motion. Again, you can pause it, whatever, but for this side, I know that the same spot I was in on my right side is troublesome on this side, but I also know that my posterior delt, so back of my shoulder, is what's not happy. So Amy, who's in this group, her husband, I had a couple of sessions with him earlier this year, specifically for this left shoulder, okay? So I'm gonna do that same thing right here. This is the spot where, like, I'm just holding, keeping a good face right now for y'all, because this is my spot where it's just screaming, okay? So I know for me on this side, I gotta do a lot of internal, external rotation, okay? Your other option, if you're kind of moving more into that shoulder, is to do a little scrubbing. So pull that shoulder back, push it forward, okay? So hopefully you can see that I'm pushing my shoulder back and bringing it forward, okay? Right along that muscle that is sticky, okay? I'll do a couple more on this side just because we only have one left. But in my opinion, this is probably the worst one, okay? Some of these mobility drills, when you first start them, do not feel good. I will be the first to admit that. And that is part of the reason why it can be so tough sometimes to incorporate it, because it doesn't always feel good. But if you can stick with it, you're going to improve your ranges of motion, which is going to make you have better workouts, which is going to make you have better posture. It just makes you move well throughout life, all right, which is what we all want. So you can see, I don't know if you can remember, but this is a pretty, I'm not be able to get my arm up as high on this side as I'm on the other side, okay? So that seems pretty good for that one. Once you've done that, you can kind of move around a little bit. Really quickly before we end, I want you to come back in a child's pose, okay? Come back in a child's pose. How does this feel now compared to how it did before? already I can feel like I'm getting, and then I can get a little bit lower. The only kind of pinching I feel is in that left shoulder, which is, you know, why you need to do mobility work, so that, you know, things like that are not always persistent. Okay, but hopefully you're feeling a little bit better. Okay, last but not least, if you've got your giant foam roller here, again, you can use a pillow, something that's going to kind of bolster you up. I like to plop onto the foam roller. Okay, make sure my neck is supported, and just hang out here. Just hang out here. Gives me a little tiny massage on my spine, on my lower back, especially my T-spine. Sometimes I kind of twist, you know, shift side to side here. It's helping to stretch those pecs, opening that chest a little bit more. Okay, you can even kind of work that T-spine a little bit more by moving those arms in and out. You'll notice this looks like a superwoman, only you are face up instead of face down. You can leave those arms up here to work on opening that chest more, but I just like to hang out here for maybe a minute or two and just kind of relax and breathe. All right? So, hopefully this was helpful for you. If you've got any questions, let me know. This lacrosse ball is from Dick's Sporting Goods. I think it was $2. And this racquetball ball came in a thing of 3, and I think it was like $3 or $4 as well. Okay, nothing fancy. Literally went to Dick's. You can buy this at Kroger or Target probably too as well. Okay, these are going to be lifesavers. Tennis ball is another great one. It's about the size of a lacrosse ball, but more of the density of a racquetball. Okay. If you got questions, let me know. Hopefully you enjoyed.